Have you ever spent a sleepless night, heart racing, mind spinning through worst-case scenarios that haven't even happened? That presentation you're dreading. The difficult conversation you need to have. The medical test results you're waiting on. In those dark hours, something powerful happens. Our fears grow larger than life itself. 2,000 years ago, the Roman philosopher Seneca recognized this universal human struggle when he wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Today, I want to explore how fear, not reality, quietly steals our freedom and peace, and the ancient wisdom that can help us take it back. Seneca wasn't writing these words from a place of comfort and safety. He lived in ancient Rome, an era of political assassinations, deadly plagues, and public executions. He personally faced exile, death threats, and eventually was forced to take his own life by Emperor Nero. Yet in the midst of genuine dangers, he made a profound observation. The suffering created by our minds often exceeds the suffering caused by actual events. This wasn't about dismissing real physical pain or genuine threats. Instead, Seneca was illuminating something we've all experienced: how our vivid imaginations can construct elaborate scenarios of doom that seldom materialize in reality. Think about what happens when worry takes hold. Our minds don't just consider what might go wrong. They construct elaborate movies of failure, rejection, and disaster, complete with emotional surround sound. We rehearse the worst outcomes so vividly that our bodies respond as if they're actually happening. Our heart races. Our muscles tense. Stress hormones flood our system. We feel the pain of events that haven't occurred and may never occur. The mind truly is like a painter with infinite creative potential. Given the same blank canvas of circumstances, it can create either a masterpiece of possibility or a nightmare of apprehension. The outside world remains unchanged, but our internal experience differs dramatically based on what we choose to paint. Modern neuroscience has actually confirmed what Seneca intuited centuries ago. Brain scans show that imagining a threatening situation activates the same neural pathways as experiencing it directly. To your nervous system, vividly imagined fear feels remarkably similar to real danger. And this is where imagination becomes costly. When we live captive to imagined fears, we pay with our most precious resources. Our inner peace disappears, replaced by constant anxiety. Opportunities for growth and connection pass us by because they feel too risky. Even our ability to fully experience the present moment, the only moment we ever truly have, gets sacrificed on the altar of what if. I know this personally. For years, I allowed fears about failure and judgment to keep me from pursuing what mattered most. Each time, the stories my mind created were far worse than any reality I actually encountered when I finally found the courage to act. So how do we apply Seneca's wisdom in our everyday lives? How do we stop suffering from imagined catastrophes and start living in reality? First, we need to recognize when fear is imagined rather than real. When anxiety rises, pause and ask yourself this simple question: has this actually happened, or am I just imagining it? This creates a crucial moment of awareness between stimulus and response. Next, practice returning to the present moment through mindfulness. When your mind begins spinning tales of future disaster, gently bring your attention back to your breath. Feel your feet on the ground. Notice 5 things you can see right now. This simple practice reminds you that in this moment, you are safe. Another powerful practice is to write down your fears in specific, concrete language. There's something about seeing our catastrophic thoughts on paper that often reveals their exaggeration. The monsters in our minds typically appear smaller when brought into the light. Studies have actually shown that roughly 85 to 90% of what we worry about never comes to pass. And of the remaining 10 to 15% that does happen, most people find they handle the situation far better than they imagined they would. The goal isn't to eliminate all concern or to pretend real challenges don't exist. Instead, it's to replace catastrophic thinking with realistic thinking, neither sugarcoating reality nor creating elaborate disaster scenarios. When you notice yourself suffering from imagination rather than reality, try this approach. Ask yourself, what's the most likely outcome here? And, if the difficult thing did happen, what strengths and resources could I draw on to handle it? These questions shift your focus from helpless catastrophizing to resourceful problem-solving, exactly what Seneca would advise. The ancient Stoics like Seneca weren't trying to eliminate emotions or advocate detachment from life. Rather, they sought freedom, freedom from being controlled by irrational fears and imagined catastrophes. Seneca understood something profound. The mind can either be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. Unchecked, it can create suffering far beyond what reality delivers. But properly directed, it can become the source of immense peace and personal power. Freedom begins the moment you stop believing every fearful thought that arises in your consciousness. Not through denial, but through wise discernment between what's real and what's merely imagined. I'm reminded of a story about a woman who spent decades afraid to pursue her passion for teaching because she imagined humiliation and failure. When she finally took the leap at age 52, she discovered not only that she was capable, but that her unique life experience made her an exceptional teacher. The suffering she had endured for 20 years existed only in her imagination, not in reality. How many of us are living similar stories? How many opportunities, connections, and moments of joy have we sacrificed to fears that exist only in our minds? Today, I invite you to begin a new relationship with fear. When anxiety arises, pause. Take a breath. Ask yourself, is this real, or am I suffering in imagination right now? This simple practice won't eliminate all challenges from your life, but it will help ensure that you're responding to what's actually happening rather than what you fear might happen. If this message resonates with you, I hope you'll subscribe to Path Within and continue exploring these timeless philosophical insights that have guided humanity for centuries. Share this video with someone who might be suffering more in imagination than reality right now. And in the comments, I'd love to hear, what is one imagined fear you're ready to release today? Remember what Seneca knew, reality is rarely as frightening as what we imagine. And that realization alone can be the first step toward genuine freedom.